Good morning and welcome to the DSR Daily for Friday, April 4th. I'm your host for today, Riley Fessler, joined by Minna Stein. How are you doing, Minna?
I'm happy it's Friday. How are you?
Good. Are you feeling liberated from your savings yet?
Oh, liberated from my savings. Yeah, I guess I am feeling that.
That's the only thing I can think of what we got liberated from on Liberation Day.
I
But
think everyone's feeling that.
yeah, well, an update on the liberation of America from our financial burdens. China imposed new 34% tariffs on U.S. goods, escalating the trade war with the Trump administration and sparking global market turmoil. The move included export controls on rare earths and a WTO complaint, while the U.S. faced backlash from multiple nations over its recent tariff hikes. Economists warned of a heightened risk of global recession, with markets reacting sharply to the tit-for-tat measures. The EU remains divided on its response, with some leaders urging negotiations while others consider retaliatory actions. It is amazing that you can tank the global economy with the stroke of a pen if you're the president of the United States. It really is bizarre. Back on the campaign trail, I really did think that Trump just didn't know what tariffs were and that he would kind of back down once he was in office. I was wrong, which is not surprising. But I still kind of don't think he knows what they are, to be fair. I don't think I was wrong on that front, but I was wrong on the backing down, and it does seem like he's willing to just crater the U.S. economy and global economies just out of sheer stubbornness.
Yeah, all of the talk about fentanyl, driving some of these tariffs, not all of them, does lead me to believe that there is some confusion about what tariffs actually are and how you use them. But speaking of tanking the economy, U.S. stock markets took a significant hit on Thursday, with the Dow Jones, SP 500, and NASDAQ all experiencing their worst drop since the COVID-19 market crash, largely due to concerns over President Trump's new tariffs on trade partners. The tariffs, which targeted China, Taiwan, Vietnam, and other manufacturing hubs, have raised worries about increasing inflation, slowed economic growth, and potential retaliation from other countries, as we just discussed. Although the U.S. economy is still growing, the market's sharp decline signals investor uncertainty, with analysts predicting continued volatility in the coming weeks. Yeah, I was reading that almost every industry experienced a drop yesterday because of the announcement of these tariffs. Best Buy shares sank 18%. United Airlines fell 16%. Nike also fell 16%. And even Nvidia saw stocks drop 8%. So it's definitely affecting everyone. And I can't imagine anyone is happy that this is going on. Even industries that maybe wanted Trump to be elected because they thought it might help them in terms of like taxes or any of that kind of thing. I can't see this. I mean, at what cost, right? I don't know how this helps anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I just checked my investments while you were talking, and they are taking a hit. So, I mean...
Yeah, everyone's taking a hit, not just industries, but us too.
This benefits almost no one. Like, I can't think of anybody this benefits other than, like, truly the top executives who basically want a crash to happen so they can buy up assets at a reduced rate. Those are really the only people that would benefit from this. And even then, that's a big gamble because there's a high chance that if a recession happens, they're going to take a huge hit too. And it's not going to work out for them. So it's puzzling. Really hope that the administration will get some kind of concession from this that they're looking for, just to look tough and will reverse course. I imagine that's the desired outcome. But it's hard to even say.
It is very hard to make predictions, as we learned last time we did this.
Yeah. Well, some more bad news, unfortunately. Measles outbreaks are spreading across Texas, New Mexico, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Ohio, with the U.S. already surpassing 2024's total cases this year. The CDC reports 5 active outbreaks, with 2 unvaccinated individuals having died from measles-related complications. Low vaccination rates in certain communities have allowed the highly contagious virus to resurge, with cases linked to international travel. Health officials urge vaccination, as the MMR vaccine remains the most effective way to prevent infection and serious complications. Another incredible own goal. This, again, should be an easy slam dunk. Just get vaccinated and support vaccinations. But the administration has enlisted the support of the likes of RFK Jr., people who don't believe in vaccines, no matter what they say. They say it doesn't. They say they do support vaccines, but just look at their track record. It's not hard to see that they are vaccine skeptics at the very least. And as with the tariffs, where all you needed to do was just not do tariffs and the economy would be fine. All you need to do in this case is just encourage people to get vaccinated with the vaccine that we already have that already works. And they can't even do that.
Yeah, I'm nervous about it. I don't know how you feel, but I'm immunocompromised and I'm nervous about getting really sick, and I'm like washing my hands constantly all day, and I don't even know if that will help you not get measles, but I figured it can't hurt.
Yeah, I mean, I have the vaccine, so I'm not
I do
as
too.
nervous. But it is frustrating. I mean, like, that's the thing, is like this one doesn't affect me as much because I have the vaccine. But the thing with diseases is being able to jump between unvaccinated individuals just gives the disease a chance to spread and mutate. So, there's a chance down the line it could affect us vaccinated individuals, but in the meantime, it's only affecting the unvaccinated, it seems, in terms of severity. But
I don't know. Just like, I mean, I am vaccinated. I'm like up to date on all of my vaccines. Let's not mince words about that. Right. But I think just like in general, I'm kind of nervous about illness spreading in the United States and there not being like an adequate response to it, or something happening and us just being wholly unprepared for it not seeing it coming in the first place. That
does terrify me. I mean, I think if bird flu mutates, we're going to be in big trouble because we have, they being the Trump administration, have completely eviscerated the infrastructure that would help us combat such diseases. And in some of those cases, they tried to rehire the people. I haven't followed up to see how successful they were in rehiring the people they fired. But we're going to be completely unprepared. Yeah, even less so than the first time. It is amazing, the about face from the Trump administration. To their credit, they were behind Operation Warp Speed, which got us the first vaccines. Got them quickly. And he just followed the base, which became so incredibly vaccine skeptical that Trump has reversed course, has turned away from one of his few good impulses from the first administration. And now we don't even have that. So,
well, shifting to other people who are getting let go when they probably shouldn't. Air Force General Timothy Hogg and Deputy NSA Director Wendy Noble were unexpectedly dismissed from their positions at the National Security Agency on Thursday, though the reasons for their ouster remains unclear. The move has sparked criticism from congressional Democrats who expressed concerns over their potential politicization of intelligence leadership and its impact on national security. Some experts have labeled their firings as, quote, unprecedented, warning that political interference in such high-level intelligence roles could undermine the nation's security. Although it does remain unclear why exactly they were let go, one possible reason behind their being let go is that Laura Loomer has been very vocal post their firing about how was behind it and how she's thanking President Trump for being receptive to vetting materials that she provided to them, and that they needed to be fired because they were Biden holdovers. Although it's important to note also that she is a 9/11 conspiracy theorist who does believe that 9/11 was an inside job. So interesting that Laura Loomer could possibly be behind this.
we haven't really heard as much about Laura Loomer. Like she made a bunch of headlines in the lead up to the election, and then I feel like she just went radio silent.
Well,
We haven't
now
really
she's
heard.
popping back up a little
Yeah,
bit.
now she's rearing her head again. But yeah, it is puzzling. I know I kind of forgot about her, which is insane to forget about somebody so uh, contentious from just a few months ago. It just shows how
Yeah.
fast news moves in this administration. But yeah, I mean, she hasn't really, that I'm aware of, and I'm not, maybe she's been doing things that I'm not aware of, but I feel like she hasn't been making the same headlines that she was back then. So now she's back, unfortunately.
Well,
Um,
apparently she is doing things that you're not aware of because she's providing vetting materials to the administration on
oh,
people who
good.
work in different sects of the government, like the National Security Agency. And she's vetting them. I don't want her vetting anyone who works in the government, whether I like them or not. I don't trust her judgment.
Yeah, in terms of trustworthy folks, does not rank highly on my list. But what can you do? Well, to end things on a positive note, and you know, a good note of government accountability. South Korea's constitutional court has officially removed President Yoon Suk Yeol from office, upholding his impeachment over his controversial declaration of martial law in December of 2024. The court unanimously ruled his actions, including deploying troops to parliament, unconstitutional, calling them a, quote, grave betrayal of public trust. Yoon, a former prosecutor who helped impeach a previous president, now faces criminal insurrection charges and becomes the shortest serving elected leader in South Korea's democratic history. The ruling triggers a presidential election within 60 days, with opposition leader Lee Jae-myung emerging as a potential successor amid heightened political tensions. It's just nice to see actual accountability from democracies. Makes me a little jealous, a little wistful that we can't have the same. But, this is obviously what should have happened. What his declaration of martial law was incredible in its brazenness and short-sightedness, it seems.
Mm.
It still is just bizarre that this happened and what he hoped to gain, but obviously did not work in his favor. Kind of amazing that it took this long, but better late than never. And
I mean, it's kind
yeah,
of beautiful, right? They like worked through their legislative
yeah,
process, you know? They're like,
and
these
the,
are the laws. We will now work through the process. And now he will be impeached, or not
and
impeached, sorry. And now he will have to step down.
yeah, and it was unanimous. There was
Yeah.
no ambiguity. There was no waffling on whether or not this was the right thing to do. It was swift.
Yeah.
Well, relatively swift for removing a president, but
I
nice to
think,
see justice being served.
yeah, it's definitely nice to see that. I remember like when this first started happening and he first was impeached, we were talking so much about like, oh, you know, these different countries and world leaders. It's showing Trump that there will be accountability for world leaders. There will be accountability. And it's nice that there was accountability in South Korea, but I don't know, the way things are going in the United States, I'm not feeling quite so hopeful. I'm just feeling more jealous, like you said.
Yep, but at least some places are still sticking to the democratic norms as much as possible in these insane times. Well, that's all we've got for you today and this week. I will actually be gone next week. I'll be on vacation, so I will leave you in David and Minna's hands. But I'll be back after that for
You'll
more
be missed,
DSR
Riley.
dailies. Yeah, I'm sure I will. I'll be relieved to be able to turn off the news for a week and not pay attention. It
And we'll be
is
jealous.
it is a mental health break I sorely need. But until we see you again here on the DSR Daily, bye bye.